The Kickoff, sponsored by Guerrero and Guerrero, the injury attorney.
Hey, welcome to another week of The Kickoff. We have, again, not been fired yet, not been canceled. The ratings have skyrocketed.
I feel like I'm safe. I'm not technically employed here, so.
That's true, yeah.
They'll just say, hey, man, just don't come back.
Hey, hey, don't call us, we'll call you.
Yeah, that's how you want to get laid off anyway, right?
Exactly, take a breather over there for a little bit. Don't call us, we'll call you. Hey, that's pretty cool, actually. We were talking before the show at your sunglasses on top of your head.
Yeah, I got these at Conference USA Media Days.
What?
2 years ago. Fiesta Bowl sunglasses.
Well, yeah. Wait, what tie-in does Conference USA have with the Fiesta Bowl?
They don't have one. Well, I mean, potentially, I guess 2 years ago, if a Conference USA school would have gotten to a New Year's Six Bowl.
Oh, okay.
And if if the Power Fives didn't feel it, then they would have had an affiliation with the Fiesta Bowl, but they didn't get there. So
you're saying there's a chance Louisiana Tech could go to the Fiesta Bowl this year?
No, that would have been 2 years ago. I'm not sure what the New Year's Six Bowl is this year, but I mean they could. They're 4-1.
You never know.
If they win 7 more games, I mean,
run the table.
Sitting there at 13-1, that would look pretty good for the Texters.
The Texters?
The Texters.
The Texters?
The Texters.
Hey, let's talk a little high school football. Huge game coming up this week. The talk of both sides of the river will be on West Monroe and Neville during Bayou Jam. If you recall, the Tigers stunned the Rebels late. Both teams met prior in a summer 7-on-7. Ever since then, Neville's offense has averaged 3 scores in their contest, with the exception of a 35-7 loss to STM last week. West Monroe's defense has remained strong. They've only given up an average of 7 points per week. Mickey McCarty and Jerry Arledge were asked if the playbook remains the same when they meet up this Friday.
You know, they probably have changed a few things. We've changed a few things. They've improved a lot. Hopefully we've improved, and this one really counts for bragging rights of the communities, both communities, for the remainder of this year.
I think scheme-wise, there's always some tweaks that both of us will take into this ball game that didn't show up in the Jamboree. You're 5 weeks into the season now. The playbook's turned a couple of pages, and I think you'll see that out of both teams.
The big week is here, Corey. What do both sides have to do to walk away with a W?
I think when you look at Neville, they're getting West Monroe to come to their side of the river. Sign the football defensively. You gotta account for not only the quarterback Lane Little running the ball. You got to try to slow down Jerome Williams at running back, and then when Caden Pierce gets his opportunities to rush the football, you got to try to get that big kid on the ground somehow.
Yeah.
And, in typical West Monroe fashion, they always like to sneak out their tight ends. It might hit a seam route, going across the middle there. So you have to be prepared also for the play-action pass. And I think defensively for West Monroe, you got to find ways to force mistakes, which I think a lot of teams have against Neville's offense so far. They're kind of susceptible to having, some interceptions and putting the ball on the ground. So if you get turnovers, you got to cash in on those turnovers, and I think both teams would be able to benefit from some turnovers and creating some more opportunities to score points and get more offensive possessions for their offense.
And breaking news, I saw Caden Pierce last week at the fair. He had an elephant ear. In case you're wondering, he had an elephant ear.
I don't think I've ever eaten an elephant ear.
I don't like them. I don't think they're that good.
I've never tried. I'm open to trying them. Maybe next week we can get some people to send in some elephant ears for us to eat on air.
It's just burnt toast.
Watch me eat an elephant ear for the very first time in my entire life.
That'd be pretty cool.
Well, I think we should try to get this done.
We should. Hey, Washita Bastrop battle on the gridiron this week. The Rams in Cedric Sherrod's first season are now 4-0. Their offense was too much for Richwood last week in the 45-12 victory. They have yet to score under 4 touchdowns in any game this year. Washita top Union Parish in a defensive battle. The Lions are limited to 157 yards. Running back star Shanzavia Lewis held to 57. Coach Sherrod does not think lightning will strike twice, however.
D-line. I feel like that's the key to us being successful because Washita is great at running the football, so I feel like that's going to be very important for us to be successful.
We've got to continue to be physical and do a great job of blocking and tackling, and so it's more about we're probably our own worst enemy, and so we've got to focus on the details of the game.
Corey, we think Washita Bastrop, what really stands out to you, man?
It's got to be Bastrop's offense. They've caused problems for everyone that they've faced so far this year. They beat an Evangel team who I saw Evangel last week at West Monroe. And that's a very good football team. Bastrop went to their place and beat them. So I think what they've done offensively through 4 games this year has probably been one of the biggest storylines, I think, in our coverage area through the first 4 weeks, and how they've been able to, they lost some guys. You didn't know kind of what was going to be in the bag. And they've been able to come out and piece everything together and have looked to be one of the more impressive teams in the area so far. So I think Washita's defense is in for a big challenge on Friday night. Bastrop getting them at their place. You build an advantage. That games like this, those can be big difference makers. So Jeff Fitzgerald and his crew, I know they're up for a challenge, but they're also usually. I mean, they won that game at Union Parish last week, and they made some mistakes themselves and somehow pulled that game out. So that's probably a big confidence boost for them going to this game too.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little Arkansas football. Crosset is buzzing, and rightfully so, following their first win of the season. They shocked rival Warren 38-35 last Friday. It was the Eagles' first win over the Lumberjacks in nearly 30 years.
Wow.
Warren has won District 8 4A. They're kind of like the West Monroe of Arkansas. That's what coaches in the National State are telling me. They've won District 8 4A the last few years. The Jacks were up 2 touchdowns at the half, but Sonny Mason's bunch stormed back in the final quarters. The final dagger, a 15-yard touchdown pass, which made it a 10-point game with just over 3 minutes left.
That was exciting for the kids. To get them all calmed down and get them back in the locker room was quite a chore. We're coming off a big victory of not having beat them in 29 years, and then we rolled straight into homecoming week this week. We felt we had a good team all along. Just a few things didn't go our way the first 2 or 3 ball games. We do have way more confidence after a victory, of course, than you do after a loss.
While others wait one more game for district play, Area 1A schools are in the second week of district action. St. Fred's will host Oak Grove this Friday. Warriors scored 55 last week. In 3 of their last 4 games, their defense held opponents to a pair of field goals. Despite being known to run the football, new starting quarterback Braden Sullivan can throw it, and he will throw it. That was seen in a 7-score performance versus Delta Charter. Same evening, their D-line limited the Storm to 8 points.
Defensive line is where they start. They got 3 guys up there that in our district I don't think anybody else has. And then offensively, they mix and match personnel. They do a good job of throwing the ball vertical, and then their strong traditional run game that they have.
Yeah, they do a lot of different things on offense that puts you in a bind. You've got to defend, whether it be the option or whether it be the spread run game or the spread pass game. So it's a lot of different things that they can do, and they always have that playmaker they can throw it to out there on the edge.
Corey, in 20 seconds. Let's go to Union Parish. Hey, 3A battles 4A when these guys match up in a couple of days. Mentioned briefly earlier that Union Parish dropped a defensive contest to Union Parish, but Farmers running back Trey Holly, brother of Tech's Bobby Holly, finished with 156 yards rushing. Here are both coaches after their games.
Well, they're a very good team on defense, Union is. I think for us, it's going to be about finishing the blocks. It's going to be about carrying out fakes. It's going to be about execution. Number one, more important than all of it, is not put the ball on the ground.
Offensively, we've got to stop turning the ball over, and we've got to nullify some of those penalties. And defensively, we just have to wrap up a little better, and we have to start causing more turnovers.
Up next, what's behind Mangum's hot 4-0 start, and plus one area high school without 3 star players this week. Find out who next on the Kickoff.